Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Trinidad and Tobago's electoral body defends its integrity in the face of opposition accusations of collusion with the ruling party. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, April 17th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Trinidad and Tobago's Elections and Boundaries Commission, the EBC, has denied taking specific steps to ensure a victory for the ruling People's National Movement, PNM, in the next local and general elections. It insisted on Wednesday that it was not involved in any attempt with or without the PNM to change polling stations to ensure the main opposition United National Congress, USC, is defeated. The allegation was made by opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessor at a UNC public meeting earlier this week. She told supporters about recent changes to the polling divisions that she claimed favored the ruling party. But speaking on a radio program on Wednesday, EBC Communication Manager Bobby Rogers challenged the opposition leader or anyone with evidence that electoral officials are engaged in unethical behavior to come forward.
The EBC views these statements and allegations of corruption and collusion political parties with no evidence of this as unfortunate, because we believe that these statements have the potential to erode the credibility of this institution. We strongly believe that should an investigation reveal any evidence of impropriety, the EBC gives the public every assurance that any perpetrator will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, as we are prepared to, and we have reiterated this position, to assist in any investigation. We will remain committed to ensuring integrity, accountability, and transparency in all our operations.
Insisted that the EBC had done nothing untoward and its actions in relation to polling stations were in keeping with the Trinidad and Tobago Constitution.
We are required to review the number of boundaries and constituencies into which Trinidad and Tobago is divided for the purpose of elections, and these reports are submitted to Parliament. The EBC is required to do this by the law, and we have since submitted the 2019 report of the Elections and Boundaries Commission on the review of the constituency boundaries pursuant to Section 72 of the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley also dismissed the remarks by Persad-Bissessor as outrageous, and he charged that her comments were intended to hurt the image of the country with regards to the holding of free and fair elections. Ghana's opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo has been questioned by police over statements that allegedly incited racial tensions. Lawmen visited his office on Wednesday to get his response to the allegations that stemmed from comments he made on March 10th at the Chedi Jagan commemorative ceremony at Babujan. They were investigating a report that Jagdeo told the gathering that after the 21st of March, the government would be illegal, and if the President David Granger and Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu came into the community, they should be chased out. Jagdeo had also referred to Granger, Nagamutu, and Minister Sidney Alcock as jackasses. Jagdeo's contention that the administration would be illegal was based on its failure to hold elections by the 90-day deadline following the National Assembly's passage of a no-confidence motion against government on December 21, 2018. The High Court had ruled the motion was valid, but the appeal court subsequently overturned that decision, and the opposition has taken the matter to the Caribbean Court of Justice. After outlining the allegations made against Jagdeo, the police gave him the option of giving either an oral or written response.
I'm tempted to give you an explanation because I do believe there is strong justification for everything that I said. but I will prefer to just give you a written statement. Had it not been a legal matter, I would have justified every single word that I uttered there at Babujan.
Meantime, the government and police have refuted claims that orders were given for Jagdeo's arrest after his controversial comments. The opposition People's Progressive Party, PPP, had claimed that lawmen were given instructions to detain their General Secretary with criminal offences under the Racial Hostility Act. But the Ministry of the Presidency, the Guyana Police Force, and the People's National Congress Reform, the largest party in the coalition government, say that's not true. We get more in this News Source Guyana report.
The Ministry of the Presidency, in its statement, said it wants to make it clear that no such instruction to arrest the opposition leader was issued by the head of state, any minister of government, or any government official. The government said it is of the view that the Constitution, to which every Guyanese is subjected, is supreme, and if a violation has occurred, then by all means the law must take its course. The Guyana Police Force must carry out its functions without fear or favor, the statement said from the Ministry of the Presidency. And State Minister Joe Harmony reiterated the point in Berbice.
A question has been asked of me about whether in fact the government of Guyana has any hand in the charges filed against Mr. Jagdeo or any arrest of Mr. Jagdeo. I want to make it pellucid that the government has not. The ministry of the president in particular, or any government minister or the president has not given any instruction whatsoever to the police. The police, as the law enforcement agency in this country, they have to do their work. And if anyone breaches the law, then no one is above the law. Anyone breaches the law, then the police, they are authorized to take action where they are concerned. In their own deliberate judgment and on the advice of the police legal advisor, the police will take their own action. I want to make this very clear that we did not give any instructions to the police. The police, they are doing a professional job, and anybody who breaks the law must be prepared to face the consequences of their action.
The Guyana Police Force, in its statement, said it remains a professional organization, and any action previously or currently being taken is wholly pursuant to legal advice obtained and or to engage in investigations. The police force said it had not been issued with any instruction from anyone. And the People's National Congress Reform, which makes up the largest part of the coalition government, in a statement of its own said that while the PNCR condemned the inflammatory statements by the leader of the opposition, Barra Jagdeo at Babujan, it is not part of the culture of the PNCR, in or out of government, to issue directives to the Guyana Police Force or interfere in the day-to-day operation and administration of the police force.
A Venezuelan gang is reportedly adding to Trinidad and Tobago's crime problem. That's according to secret intelligence reports recently compiled by various arms of law enforcement, amid a recent upsurge in crime involving nationals from the Spanish-speaking nation. CNC3's Mark Besant reports.
Guardian media saw these reports, which highlighted the worrying trend of the Venezuelan gang Evande, which they say has several hundred of its members illegally in this country. The gang has more than 650 members. This gang, the secret report says, have been responsible for several violent crimes in Venezuela, which include high-profile kidnappings and murders. The members of this gang, the secret reports revealed, have since embedded themselves with local gangs and have also sought jobs on construction sites across the country. The reports also pointed to the gang's involvement in the trafficking of narcotics and firearms into Trinidad and Tobago. What authorities have also unraveled in their intelligence reports is that members of this particular gang fled Venezuela for Trinidad and Tobago, not only to escape rival gangs, but also the Venezuelan Guardia Nacional that were given instructions to dismantle this particular gang due to their violent and heinous nature. One senior intelligence official said this is going to have a domino effect in Trinidad and Tobago. With more drug seizures, someone is going to have to pay the price. Another high-ranking intelligence officer familiar with the situation said that these Venezuelan gangs operate with a different modus operandi. Criminologist Darius Figuera, who spoke to The Guardian last Saturday, said Venezuelans have been coming to our shores under the control of Venezuela's organized criminal gang. Figuera also alluded to the fact that these Venezuelan gangs form coalitions with local gangs around Trinidad. He said those Venezuelans have already affiliated themselves with local gangland operators and they are not afraid to die. Guardian Media contacted Commissioner of Police CaribVision for his take on the secret intelligence reports, but he refused to make any comment. He was also questioned about Figueroa's findings of Venezuelan gangs now infiltrating the country. Griffith would only say he was not in a position to say whether Figueroa's comments are inaccurate. The two senior intelligence sources revealed to Guardian Media that they received credible information that at least 3 Venezuelan nationals shot and killed over the last month and a half, with some were connected to the Ivande gang.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a police investigation into the disappearance of an 8-year-old Jamaican girl turns into a murder probe. Stay with us.
So we're gonna add our onions to our oil. Salt to taste.
You want to go ahead and just add your minced garlic, your ginger, and your chilies. Once that's fried, you want to go ahead and add your broccoli in and give it a nice stir. Now you just want to let that cook for about 30 to 45 seconds. When that's nice and coated, you want to add your tofu and give it a good mix to incorporate all the sauces.
Police in Jamaica are following several leads after the body of an 8-year-old girl was found on Tuesday, days after she went missing after leaving school for home. They're deploying a special team of investigators to probe the killing of Shante Skyers. The girl's body, with wounds to the front and back of the head, was found about a mile from her Sterling Castle, St. Andrew home by a search party led by officers from the St. Andrew North Police Division. But lawmen are being criticized for their response to the missing persons report. TVJ's Herman Green reports.
The body of 8-year-old Shante Skyers discovered in bushes Tuesday morning, shattering any hope her family had of finding her alive. It all started last week Thursday when Shante, a student of the Red Hills Road Primary, left school for her home in Blue Hole, Sterling Castle. However, she didn't reach her destination. Her father, Fabian Skyers, claims that despite reporting the matter to the Red Hills Police that same evening, he and other community members had to start searching for her themselves. On Monday, he expressed his desperation.
On Thursday night, I wake up in the rain and walk and look for her Thursday night. Me personally, go leave the police and tell me, say, no, they don't do nothing till 24 hours.
Right, we just have to tell them a while ago.
Yeah. One help you know, more some dog for sniff, more some green suit man for run a people place and a search. Me can't do that, me can't pick up the army and the police work. Me need the army and the police here, so me need a helicopter in here.
That's when residents joined with him in protest, blocking the main road.
From how much day ago, and now nobody will come. We're not getting any help from Red Hills Police.
Then, Tuesday morning,
so what we have done, we have come together as a security force, both the army and the police, and we decided that we're going to come and comb the entire area.
Shante's body was later found covered with stones and bushes in the community she called home. Based on the timeline between her disappearance on Thursday and finding her Tuesday morning, we asked Superintendent Leon Clunis about her father's statement that the police did not respond with urgency.
I can tell you, since this was reported to the police has been carrying out every effort to find this child. Inspector Davon Shirley, that is in charge of the Redis police station would have gone into the bushes several times. But you have to remember, these are persons without much resources to get the job done. So, and that is why we were calling this morning to assist, and you can see the end result. So it's not that the police wasn't doing enough. It's just that the police could have only done what the police could have done at that point. So.
Staying in Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is ready to roll out more zones of special operations, ZOSOs, across the country. He made the disclosure on Tuesday before lawmakers voted unanimously to approve further extensions for the ongoing ZOSOs in Mount Salem, St. James and the West Kingston community of Denham Town for a further 90 days. Under the ZOSOs, security forces have special powers, including to search places, vehicles and people with or without a warrant. The measure has been in place in Denham Town for 532 days and in Mount Salem for 577 days. Prime Minister Holness said authorities had learned a lot from those two ZOSOs being in place.
We have reached a point where we believe that we have perfected the operations of the zones of special operations, and that we are now ready to declare other communities zones of special operations. And in short order, announcements will be made about the declaration of other communities.
We apologize for the quality of that video. Well, the Prime Minister said budgetary allocations have already been made and allocation of manpower is now being carefully considered before the new ZOSOs are declared. In this week's Newsline business, Sagicor Investments Jamaica expands in neighboring Cayman Islands. Trinidad's energy minister says the country has enough foreign reserves and the IDB approves a multi-million-dollar financial plan for Barbados.
Newsline Business is brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
Sagicor Investments Jamaica is tapping into the Cayman market. The company is looking to begin operations in Georgetown soon, pending regulatory approval. It is part of Sagicor Jamaica's plans to invest the equivalent of $2.6 billion in Cayman as part of its overall regional expansion. CEO Kevin Donaldson says its Cayman operations will focus on asset management and investment banking.
Cayman, we are going to build a wealth management business there. We're going to build an asset management business there. We're going to build an investment banking business there. We already have clientele that we are targeting there, and we expect to launch that before the end of Q2, latest Q3.
Trinidad and Tobago's energy minister is giving assurances that there are enough foreign reserves in the Twin Island Republic. Franklin Khan says there is enough to last the next 14 and a half years. He told the Senate this week he based his estimation on a 2017 report from the oil and gas consulting firm Ryder Scott.
The reserves to production ratio based on 2P, which is the sum of the proven reserves and probable reserves, using a production rate of 1.14 TCF for 2017 is 14.6 years, which is a 16.6% increase from 2016 reserve to production ratio of 12.6 years. The proven reserves increased from 9.92 TCF trillion cubic feet in 2016 to 10.52 TCF in 2017, an increase of 0.6 TCF or 6%. Probable reserves on risk increased from 5.38 TCF in 2016 to 6.13 TCF in 2017, an increase of 0.75 TCF or 13.9%.
The Inter-American Development Bank has approved a $300 million financial plan for Barbados over the next 4 years for sovereign guaranteed loans. The IDB says the approval was granted under a new country strategy that addresses the development challenges identified by the government in Bridgetown and the Washington-based financial institution, as well as a coordinated response. Barbados became a borrowing member country in 1969. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Business.
Newsline Business was brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
When we were building in 1984, We decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning. From my home, we get rain 2 days and I still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamics.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Ahead in sport, tributes pour in for the late West Indies cricket president Pat Rousseau.
Is there anything that you would like to see going forward, Dr. Claus?
Yes, I would love for us at the Ministry of Health and in terms of our national health system to sustain our response and maintain our elimination status.
Not get caught up in the euphoria and forget about.
No, I think this is very important for us.
Well, apparently $30 million doesn't buy what it used to, especially if your wish list includes taking down a sitting president of the United States. Approximately $30 million was spent on the Mueller investigation of candidate Donald Trump and whether Trump colluded with Russia to fix the U.S. election in 2016. $30 million and we get no evidence of collusion. So the same people who were saying in 2018 that Trump would have to accept the Mueller conclusions
Former cricket West Indies president Pat Rousseau died late Tuesday at the age of 85 following a long illness. The prominent Jamaican lawyer and businessman led the then West Indies Cricket Board, WICB, from 1996 to 2001 after taking over from late Barbadian captain Peter Short. Rousseau oversaw a turbulent period in West Indies cricket, but was largely credited for overhauling the board's commercial model and helping to monetize its brand. After previously serving on the board's marketing committee, Rousseau assumed the West Indies cricket presidency in 1996. He was re-elected unopposed 2 years later before winning elections again in 2000. During his tenure, Rousseau was forced to grapple with several controversies, even as on-field performances declined. He oversaw the controversial 1998 tour of South Africa, which was nearly boycotted by a players' strike, and was forced to fly to London to meet with players to rescue the tour. That same year, the board faced heavy criticism after the first test against England at Sabina Park was abandoned after 62 balls due to a dangerous pitch. The 2001 controversial sacking of the now CWI president Ricky Skerritt, who was then team manager, precipitated a chain of events which led to Rousseau's resignation. He was replaced by prominent Barbadian and legendary former West Indies fast bowler Sir Wes Hall. While tributes have poured in following the news of Rousseau's passing, CWI President Ricky Skerritt, who served as West Indies team manager under Rousseau, hailed the former administrator as a sharp legal and business mind who had been passionate in all his pursuits. Skerritt said, quote, "Pat was a strong man, always very focused and determined. He was a sharp legal and business mind, and it was reflected during his time in charge of the organization between 1996 and 2001, end quote. The cricket administrator added that Rousseau and former chief marketing executive Chris Daring were instrumental in signing a record international TV deal for WICB with Sky and in convincing the International Cricket Council to stage the 2007 Cricket World Cup in the Caribbean. Meanwhile, Daring described Rousseau as a pioneer in just about everything he did. Daring said Rousseau, who recruited him to the board of West Indies Cricket in 1996, was highly respected. He said his death is not only a loss for Jamaica, but for the region. And regional cricket commentator Reds Pereira remembered the late administrator's generosity when he was hospitalized in Australia. Pereira, who suffered a stroke in January 1st, 1996, while he was employed with the Australian Broadcasting Service, says he received a call from Russo, who told him he would donate $18,000 to assist with his medical expenses. The Guyanese-born cricket commentator also remembered Russo as a very approachable person and a bright legal mind. Still in cricket, former Test batsman Ramnaresh Sarawan says he is thrilled at the opportunity to work with the West Indies one-day squad in the lead-up to the Tri-Nations Series in Ireland and the ICC World Cup. The 38-year-old joined the ongoing preparation camp at the 3Ws Oval in Barbados at the invitation of Director of Cricket Jimmy Adams, and says he'll be lending as much of his expertise as possible to help improve the Caribbean side's batsmen. Sarawan was quoted as saying that he came to act as a type of mentor to the players and assist in any technical areas. Recently appointed interim head coach Floyd Reefer said Sarawan would be an asset to the squad's preparations. Switching sports now, Guyana's Golden Jaguars will clash with regional football giants Jamaica as well as St. Kitts and Dominica following Wednesday's draw of the CONCACAF Men's Olympic qualifiers in Miami. Newsroom's Akeem Green has that story.
The draw for the 16 team on the 23 tournament occurred today, and the event caters for nations under the umbrella of the Confederation of North, Central America and Caribbean Association Football, commonly known as CONCACAF. Despite the Guyana Football Federation have not made public their plans for the event, which, if successful, can land a spot at the Tokyo 2020 Games, it can be expected a crop of the team will come from the players who participated in CONCACAF Under 20 Championships in Miami 2018. Ian Greenwood, GFF Technical Director, affirmed that the active Under 20 footballers are the one they have the eye on for the tournament, which takes place from July 17 to the 21st.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning. From my home, we get rain 2 days that I still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try Solar Dynamics.
Solar Dynamics water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
The Ministry of National Security is placing Tobago as a priority and tightening its borders. This as two refurbished interceptors were distributed to the Tobago Coast Guard to patrol the northern and western ends of the island. One would be stationed in Charlottesville and the other in Scarborough.
So we've refurbished the first two of those 14 interceptors, and we took a strategic decision that those first two would be stationed in Tobago.
I was good. Sometimes I had my days. I like to party, and I did like school. I got sidetracked once I got in high school.
I had spoke with the girls a few months ago about domestic violence, and I really didn't know at that time that many of them in that room were being abused.
Again, the major developments of this day. Trinidad and Tobago's electoral body defends its integrity in the face of opposition accusations of collusion with the ruling PNM. And in sport, the cricket fraternity pays tribute to the late West Indies cricket president, Pat Russo, who died Tuesday. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanonNews.com. And for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.